Building the spiritual ark is about surrender. So often that we don't realize the blessings that surrender brings until we actually do it. That's faith. Doing things that we don't understand. Like, I never understood tzitzit until I started wearing them. A lot of women don't understand head covering until they start doing it, or modesty until they actually start doing it, or the food laws until they start doing it, or the holy days until they start doing it. But it's a surrender. It's turning away from tradition. And like Yeshua said, pick up your cross and follow me. He who does not pick up his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. And that's what surrender is about, is picking up our cross. Because, it's gonna be hard. If you've kept Christmas all your life, it's gonna be hard to give up that tradition. I know that. I know it's hard for people to give that up, or to stop eating pork, or shellfish, or any of those things. And not that doing that saves you, it doesn't. But it's an evidence of this being saved. It's an evidence of your repentance. And it's not that we try to be seen by men doing something. We don't try to practice our righteousness before men, but we try to be a light. There's a difference. Trying to practice our righteousness before men is just ego and trying to be self-righteous. Whereas being a light is just simply obedience. Loving our neighbor. What is love? Or loving our enemy. What does the Torah say? That you shall not let an enemy's donkey stay under burden, but you are to release it. Why? Because the burden will eventually kill the animal. Most likely. It'll get weak and it'll eventually die. So you release it so that you can give it back to your enemy. And that's part of love, is that you don't, just because you could turn away, you can't, or not bearing false witness. If you know, the Torah says, if you know something that could set someone free, you have an obligation to come forward. It's a matter of surrender to build this ark, because God is the architect of the Ark of the Covenant, the protection of the covenant. He told them how to build the temple and tabernacle, and he told Moses, make sure to do it exactly the way I told you to. And that's what we're doing. As we walk in obedience, we're building that tabernacle. Noah, God didn't just give Noah a boat. Noah had to build that ark. And it took him, 100 years or more to build that ark? That was a act of faith. Not works, an act of faith. By faith, Noah did something. And it was I'm sure there's lots of things Noah could have been doing with his time. Things that he would have preferred to do outside of building the ark. But he chose to build the ark. He chose to surrender his will to God's will in that sense. Yeshua, he surrendered his will. Like he says in the prayer, if possible, take this cup from me, but not my will, but thy will be done. And that's how we change. Just like Yeshua said, I did not come on my own initiative, but on the initiative of my Father. I've learned more in walking obedience. Tzitzit were life-changing for me. Beards are a symbol of my desire to live a covenant lifestyle. This talit is coming to the realization that it's the prayer closet. And sure, it makes you stand out. So does a tunic in my case. So what? Why do I care what people think? I felt it was in God's design for me to have longer hair to protect my neck and my ears, and that He put it there for a reason. Not that it's not a commandment. Thou shalt have shoulder-length hair. That's not a commandment. But it was a conviction that I felt. At first, it was just to protect my neck and my ears, but I started to realize, I think, that this is part of the pattern. And, not shaving. For women, it's shaving their, the way they shave. Or for men, not shaving their beards and things like that. That's accepting His design. And that's what this whole thing is about, is submitting. Just like Yeshua said, if you love me, in John 14, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me. And the commandments shouldn't be a burden to us. And there's great blessing in it. And we become transformed by the renewing of our mind as we seek to obey. There's things now, over the last about 8 years, that I would never have imagined that God would lead me to, or to show me about the tabernacle and the Hebraic mindset and things like that I would have never even thought about. I grew up with the Sabbath and the holy days and the clean foods. And sometimes it may cost you a job. It did my dad. Because of the Sabbath. And the holy days. Why are the holy days there? They're a shadow of the things to come. And being a weekend warrior Christian is not surrender. At least I don't see it as surrender. Who do you want fighting a battle? Someone who trains for their job, the professional military, or the weekend warriors? Who do you think's going to be better fighting a battle? The weekend warrior Christianity, the ceremonial Christianity of showing up to church once or twice a week and showing up for Christmas or Easter, or if you're Messianic, the holy days, the Sabbath and the holy days, that all still becomes nothing but ceremony. But there's other things that will change you as you choose to obey. Beards, tzitzit, those are evidences. Those are tools that He uses in our lives. I know it has been in my life. It's a surrender process. That we do things in faith, not understanding before we do it the blessings that exist there. So hopefully you can kind of see that it's about surrender. That's what all this stuff is. People will say, well, God didn't require this or doesn't require that. It's a tutor. The Torah is a tutor for how to love. How to love God, and through the Sabbath, the holy days, and those things, and to show God's love to other people by loving our neighbor as ourselves. That's what this is about. Thinking of other people, considering other people more important than ourselves. Calling people, seeing, hey, is there something I can be praying for you? Being there, remembering things that they told you, and maybe bring it up the next time you talk to them. Of, hey, how's this going? How's that going? How did this turn out? How did that turn out? Things like that. And have a heart for people. It's an action. Not just a word, not just an emotion, but an action and a lifestyle. So, shalom, shalom.